all of the texts that you would generally learn in a monastic education, this is a great way to learn it. And that's what we're doing together, okay? I'm gonna share my screen. And someone has an alarm beeping in the back of their room. If that person could mute, that would be great. Santi, I think you just muted me.
Sorry, I was trying to mute everyone, and that included you. Sorry.
That's okay. All right, I'm just finding my title page. Okay, great. Make sure I can see all of your faces. This is a cool rainbow graphic I found. I thought it was cool. I thought it would inspire you. So here we are. This is what we're doing. This course content, by the way, is brought to you by another nonprofit called the Asian Classics Institute. So if you want to know more, if you want to dive deeper into Dharma, you can always search the Asian Classics Institute. This is what we're doing together today. And Santi, if you could disable the chat, that would be great. Okay, just for now. Okay, so what we're covering today is a little bit about meditation, a little bit about the ultimate nature of reality. What is it that we're in, living, breathing, feeling our skin? What's really going on here? What's responsible for the experience that I'm having? And then also, I put this in here, objections to compassion. There's these common objections, and if you're a teacher or you're a new teacher who just graduated one of our teacher trainings and you've taught on compassion before, you know that there's always at least one person in the class that says, wait, hold on. This doesn't make any sense. I don't want to be compassionate to these assholes. And then it's like how to respond to that with logic. And usually if one person's saying it, 20 people are thinking it. So it's not just on that person. But that's what we're covering today. Santi, I can still hear that beeping. Can you hear it, or is it just me? You can't hear it. Can anyone else hear it?
No, okay. But you do have your colored pencils on the bottom left.
I can hear it, Rachel.
I think Sheila may be unmuted with her headphones on.
Right, I think it's Sheila. Yes.
I think it's gone. But it's one of those sounds that might just resurface when we think it's gone. Okay. So let's get our focus, okay? I was gonna say last week, 2 days ago, the way we set our intention was to sort of shift something about the space that you're in, okay? Do something with the physical room that you're in, with your body, with, you know, I don't know, a piece of jewelry. Put something on or shift something in the way that your body is seated to indicate to you that you are stepping into the result of this practice. You're stepping in now to hear these teachings. You're stepping into the result of this practice. So what does that mean? Well, we talked about it last class. But if these teachings are true, then they will bring you to liberation if you choose to practice. They will necessarily, because of your Buddha nature, which we'll talk about, bring you to liberation. No more mental afflictions, no pain, no fear, okay? No more insecurity. I invite you to hear these teachings from that space, from that mind. And maybe you close your eyes and it won't be a full meditation, just a few moments. be in their body, and be in their mind. A mind without suffering, with boundless compassion. And it is because of your compassion that you sit and listen to these teachings, so that you can share this wisdom with your students when they need you. A friend, a family member, someone at work, a random person on the street. One day, someone's going to come up to you, they're going to need you. They're going to need to hear something that you've understood in this class. And if the scriptures are true, it's going to be countless someones. So think of them, put any of your problems outside this space and time. And step into the result of this teaching. Step into the enlightened body, the enlightened mind. And if you don't know what that is yet, that's okay. Just happy mind. Make it real. Don't resist it just because you already meditated today. Make it real. And then you can come back into the room. Okay, thank you. Feel good? Yeah, the time comes sooner. It came sooner than I anticipated, that I would be responsible for sharing this stuff. When you make a connection with a teacher, you make a connection with a lineage of teachings. It's like, oh, I'm just gonna sit here and like bask in the glory of this experience forever. And then time happens. And you're like, wait, now I need to tell people what's up? It happens much sooner than you think. And it's actually beautiful. It's actually a beautiful sensation and experience. And anyone in this room, many of the people in this Zoom call are teachers. And so they know this feeling. And I want to start by getting real about the state of mind that we're in when we approach these teachings. Even when you've got your Buddhist refuge and you're being, it doesn't matter if you're Buddhist. I'm just using the word as a reference point. When you have your like spiritual, costume on, your spiritual mode, still this applies, okay? We still always think, if I just need this one thing and then I'll feel better. I just need this one teaching. Once I finish the Asian Classics Institute courses, 1 through 18, then I'll be happy. And how many people in this room finished all those courses and they're still working? Then you can think about it in like the modern sort of New Yorker context without this Dharma. If my boyfriend just spoke to me this way instead of this way when we woke up this morning, then I wouldn't be so pissed off. If they just spoke to me with a little bit more interest or compassion, if I just get a raise that's like 10K a year, like I really need better health insurance. Once I get better health insurance, then I'll be able to relax and then my health won't be so bad. I won't be so broke and then my life will be better. Once I have kids, once I get married, once I get a better apartment, once I get a car, once I get a second apartment, once I move to upstate New York and I can be in the trees and not in the dirty, gross city, then I'll feel better. Did I hit anyone's yet? Okay. And it's a lie that our minds tell us. It doesn't mean that we don't feel good when we make adjustments, but it does mean that there's this lie that's whispering in our ear the entire time called samsara that says you just need a little bit more, just another realization, another training, another teaching, another adjustment in the material world, and then you'll feel better. When we listen to these teachings, forget about that. When Geshe Michael taught this in the 90s, he said literally, forget it. You're here because your mind is crazy. And what he meant was human, the quality of human being in this body, being in this mind, is that we're not living in accordance with reality. We won't be satisfied if we follow these impulses. What our mind is telling us is not true. So if you're sitting in the class thinking, I'm going to use this Dharma to make just one more adjustment so that I can be happy, try to steer it into that compassion that you felt at the beginning in the meditation. Try to make it about everyone and try to make it about the real capital G goal, which is destroying all pain for good, all mental afflictions for good, for real. And then if you don't believe that that's possible, we'll get into it. We'll talk a little bit more when we get deeper into class. Okay. Spiel number 1 complete. Okay, we're going to do the 2 prayers that we do at the beginning of class, offering the pure world. Okay, we talked about this 2 days ago. Imagine a world that is pure. For me, my mind blanks out, generally. It's hard for me to imagine heaven. For me, the access point is, what's my biggest suffering? And what if that was removed from the mind of every single being on the planet? So I usually start there, and then I play a little bit, and I'm like, well, what if the ground was covered in jewels? And what if every movement of my body, every moment in space and time was total bliss? Like, try to concretize what it means to offer a perfect world. And we're offering the perfect world in exchange for the teachings, which create a perfect world. We're offering the result of the teachings so that we can receive the teachings. We're actually offering it out to the Buddha who speaks Dharma. We're saying, here, if I give this to you, will you please teach me how to build it? Okay. And then we go for refuge, which is saying, there's something in these teachings that's protecting my mind. Let me remember what part of these teachings protects my mind, right? And if you've been studying a little bit, you know that the answer is karma and emptiness, love and wisdom. Okay, let's see who is here today.
Hey, Rachel, I don't know if you can take your colored pencils away because they're blocking some of the text.
My colored pencils? There's no colored pencils on my screen.
Oh, it looks like your color selector is up. That's what we see.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see it now when I'm not in presenter mode. Is that better?
Still there.
Okay.
Now they're not.
Okay, how is it now?
Perfect.
Okay, and since you're unmuted, Santi, can you start us off?
Absolutely. Sashin Puki Jukshin Metok Tram Rira Blingshin Yende Gimpati Sange Shingdu Mikte Uwarki Drokun Nandak Shingla Drupashok Iram Guru Ratna Mandala Kanyayatayami Sange Chudang Soki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsu Chi Daki Shinyen Gipe Sunam Ki Drola Panchir Sange Drupar Shok Sange Chudang Soki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsu Chi Daki Chinyen Gipe Sonam Ki Drola Panchir Sange Drupar Shok Sange Chudang Soki Choknam La Jangchu Bardu Dakni Kyapsu Chi Daki Chenyen Gipe Sonam Ki Drola Panchir Sange Drupar Shok.
Very nice. Thank you. Okay, we are going to begin with a breakout room, which encapsulates a review of what we did last time. Let's see who can remember the answer to these questions. So please do take a screenshot or a photo with your phone. We're gonna go over these 3 main points. And bonus, if you weren't here for last class, you get a chance to catch up on some of the key practical applications of Master Shantideva's text, the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, in the Patience chapter. So we're going to be talking about, why is anger bad for me? Why should I love annoying people? And what's the definition of Buddha nature? And why does it guarantee that I too can achieve liberation? I too can Buddha or wake up. Sound good? So the people who are leading the breakout rooms, please do not accept your breakout room invitation. I want to kind of see who's left and then sort you. But everyone else, okay, we're going to do 10 breakout rooms and we'll do 20 minutes. Okay. So if you are in the text chat for breakout room leaders, do not accept your breakout room invite yet. Everyone else, please do. So, and Anthony too, I think, please don't accept it because I need to sort you. I can't remember if you're in that chat or not. And we'll do 20 minutes and just give it a moment for us to get the teachers in those breakout rooms.
I'm not in that group either. Do you want me to wait?
Sure. Yes, and I will add you.
Me neither. Do you want me to wait?
I don't know who just said that.
Oh, it's Danielle.
Oh, yes, please stay.
Rachel, I didn't get a room either. Should I stay? That's Julia.
None of us have gotten rooms yet.
Yeah, the rooms didn't open yet.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, here we go. Right? Because that's like the crux of why Master Shantideva is saying what he's saying. He's saying, listen, annoying people. Like, I'll just stay away from them. What's the point of this stinking practice if it's not going to get me to like a better place, right? Okay. So let's do a very, very short review, and then we're going to move into the new content. I'm going to share my screen one more time. Here we go. Okay. I'm just moving your faces because I like to see your faces while I'm talking. Okay. Review from last class. Master Shantideva. What text are we in, by the way? Diego, what's the name of the text that we're in?
The Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life.
Okay, do you remember the name in Sanskrit?
The Bodhisattva Charvatara.
Good. Who wrote it or who spoke it?
Master Shantideva.
What year?
Is it 350 AD?
Close. By a couple hundred. Janine,
Oh, okay.
700 AD. Okay, so we're in this ancient text. We're also in a commentary on the ancient text that came 700 years later by one of the main disciples of this guy named Tsongkhapa, who's the founder of this Buddhist lineage, the Gelug lineage. So if you want to know, if you like that stuff, Tsongkhapa, 1357 to 1419. One of his main disciples wrote a commentary. So this course is entirely extracted from that commentary, which was translated to English for the first time in the 90s when this course was initially taught, and from the essential text, the main text, the root text by Master Shantideva, 700 AD. We're in this chapter on one of the 6 perfections. There's this practice that you can do. It's around the 6 perfections. If you do it, that's all you need to do to get enlightened. It's just these 6 steps. This is what they say, to go from a human mind to an angelic mind, from a human mind to the mind of a saint, to a bodhisattva's mind, right? The word bodhisattva. This is someone who has this saint-like desire to achieve liberation, not just for themselves, but for everyone else, which is a state of mind we tried to cultivate at the beginning of class. And if you fell from it, try to bring it back, okay? Try to bring it back. So we're in this text on the 6 perfections by Master Shantideva, and we're on the perfection of patience. He says, patience is not getting angry when you're supposed to. Don't get angry when you're supposed to. Patience is not waiting for the bus or for your Wi-Fi to work or for Rachel to send the Zoom link. Patience is actually not getting angry after someone screws you over. When someone does something that's wrong and you look around to all of your friends and all of your family and they say, yeah, they screwed up, they did something bad, everyone agrees, the Bible says so, and you still don't feel angry. That's the perfection of patience. Why practice that perfection at all? Because it creates a state of mind which does not have any more mental afflictions. Anger is an affliction, it's painful, and its result is painful. So we try to stop it. There were some questions about whether or not anger is healthy, whether or not anger can be useful. Master Shantideva is not saying that anger is not useful. Like, for example, it might be, I might find some use in the fact that I exploded at my partner because I realized, oh, I really don't like this. Master Shantideva is saying, listen, Rachel, you don't have to get angry at Santi to realize that you want XYZ. There's a way that you can get that insight without harming yourself or harming someone else. There's a way to protect people. There's a way to protect yourself and protect others without experiencing an affliction called anger, which harms you. He's saying, protect your mind, don't get angry. And then the next perfection, which grows out of the perfection of patience, is this reservoir of joy. Joyful effort, taking joy and doing good. That's why people at 3 Jewels look really weird. They're all doing various volunteer responsibilities that they may or may not have known how to do the thing before, you know, like some of our karma baristas, they're like, okay, sure, I'll learn how to brew coffee to support 3 Jewels. I don't know how to make a latte. Like Diego, I don't know how to make, right? You didn't know how to make a latte before. And you said, oh, 3 Jewels needs help in the cafe. I love 3 Jewels, want to support, I'm gonna learn how to brew coffee. Maybe otherwise wouldn't have cared. This becomes a resource for our spiritual practice. We're able to do things more easily. Joyful effort, okay? You get off on doing good. And then finally, this was your last question. They're saying, in the path to enlightenment, but even like forget enlightenment if that sounds too crazy. in the path to doing anything, to getting any accomplishment that you want, to get any state of mind that you want. You want to be kinder. You don't want to be as depressed. You don't want to be anxious. They're saying, listen, there's this guy called the Buddha. He destroyed all of his mental afflictions. His mind has a piece of it that's the same as a piece of your mind. That's the emptiness of the Buddha's mind. The emptiness of the Buddha's mind means that it lacks an inherent quality to it. There's no inherent quality in a Buddha's mind that makes them a Buddha. The Buddha's mind was caused. The Buddha was just some other asshole before he was a Buddha. So what does that mean? That means just any other asshole can become a Buddha. Oh, like me? I'm an asshole. I want to become a Buddha. Wow, now I'm inspired, right? That's the point. There's nothing about my mind that is an asshole. It's a caused experience. And when we talk about those caused experiences, that's karma. Is it real? Yes. Do I really experience my own personal flaws? Yes. But it doesn't mean that they're self-existently true. It doesn't mean that being Rachel means that you are necessarily XYZ. It doesn't mean that. Therefore, I can become a Buddha. So that's the review from last class. Okay, where are we now? We sort of talked about that a little bit when I quizzed Diego. I will be quizzing more people as time goes by. Oops, that went too quickly. So we're in the Bodhisattva Charyavatara, just so you get a sense of the framework. Okay? 6, 7, and 8 is what we're doing this week. Okay, and next week we'll be doing chapter 9 and 10. So the bolded stuff is what we're finishing by the end of tonight. Just checking my time. Okay, we have time. So Master Shantideva is taking us through these steps that we have to do. We're saying we want to be like a Buddha or an angel or a Jesus. Like, substitute what works for you. And he says, okay, think about the benefits for the wish for enlightenment. You have to learn how to purify shakpa. You have to figure out how to acquire the wish. Watch your mind. Are you being careful? Are you paying attention to what you're doing? Okay, now practice ethics. And he starts going through the 6 perfections. We're going to talk about meditative concentration tonight. Okay. This. Okay. I want to look at more of your faces. Please bear with me. Please have patience. I want to find someone to read, and I can only see 6 people. Okay. Sue Precious, can you read this verse, please?
The confidence of accomplishment is when you say, I am willing to do this thing all by myself. The entire world lives at the mercy of their mental afflictions. They're incapable of helping themselves at all. Beings can't do what I can do, and thus I'll be the one to do what must be done.
Thank you. So this is a very cool verse to me. And then I think that if you are doing this for a little while and you're really trying, you start to get this experience of feeling very, very alone. This is talking about this phrase, Flaksam Namdak, which is personal responsibility. It's like 99.999999% of the world is not gonna wanna do this stuff that we're talking about tonight. When they hear, don't punch the person back, don't hate the person back, they're just gonna say, no, you sound crazy, I'm going to continue doing what I do, which, by the way, generates more samsara, generates more suffering. But if you take on the mantle of like, trying to do these practices, eventually, because of your great compassion, because you see that the rest of the world is living at the mercy of their own mind, they can't help it. Have you ever had that experience when you look at a person or a group of people and you see them, like, even if it's an unattractive affliction like anger, you know, it's easy to care about someone when they're sad, I think. But then if you look at an angry person and they're sort of like disgusting, they have like this red face and they're sort of like, you know what I mean? And your response is like, oh man, like they can't help themselves. They're at the mercy of their own misconceptions, of their own mind, of their own patterns. You know, people who are working on generational trauma, I think, have this experience all the time. You look at your parents or you look at your siblings and you see them going through cycle after cycle. Like you can predict when another evolution of that cycle is going to occur. And it breaks your heart. And if you look closely enough at the people around you, you can see that we're all just at the mercy of these afflictions. And then this, everyone, not just the people who believe the right things, not just the people who believe what you believe, not just the people who are also Buddhists, okay? Everybody, every asshole is at the mercy of their mental afflictions. And this compassion grows out of that realization. And you're like, oh no, they really can't help it. And then from there, if you're special, which if you're in this class, you are, if you have the karma to hear a teaching from this guy, Master Shantideva, Mr. Three Thoughts, who is levitating above his throne as he's saying this stuff, you are. And this is probably a very attractive concept to you to say, F it. If no one else is gonna do it, that includes my family thinks I'm crazy, all of my friends from college or my friends from work, they can't relate with what I'm doing. They're like, why are you meditating on compassion? What's the necklace? Like all this stuff, they think you're weird. And you say, you know what? It doesn't matter. I'm gonna do it. And then if you've been in a spiritual community for long enough, you know what it's like to feel that everyone is against you. Because if you have that karma and you had it before you joined a Sangha, then you have it in a Sangha. And then you say, then this is a moment. You're like, it doesn't matter if all of my best friends are doing something else, I'm gonna do it because I know it's right. And because I'm moved by compassion, and there's a strength in that, there's a power in that. And there will come a time when your teacher who you connected with, who's gently been guiding you through everything, isn't gonna be there anymore. There's gonna be a time when your support system is not gonna be there anymore, and it's just gonna be you. And you realize that you're really the one. There isn't anyone else pulling the strings. It's only me and my stinking mind that I can only control 5% of the time. All right, I accept personal responsibility. I accept personal responsibility for how everything appears to me, down to the root, everything. I mean everything. The sun, the moon, the population in New York City, COVID-19, my partner, my friend, my aging body, my own death. I accept responsibility. Now I have to do what must be done. It doesn't matter how hard it is. It doesn't matter how hard it is. Because I can, I will. And that's Laksam Namdak. That's question 1. Anyone know where I'm going with this next slide? All right, question 2, the honey and the razor blade. This sounds sexy. I don't know, it sounds sexy to me. It's actually not. Okay, so then Master Shantideva, it hurts so good because he's calling us out on all of our shit. He says, why are we so, we're so contented with our accumulation of merit? Like we practitioners, doesn't matter what stage you're at, okay? Even if you're not a Buddhist, doesn't matter. We, the practitioners, we're so, we're like pretty satisfied with how far we've gone on the path. Like I can only meditate 5 minutes, but I don't need shamatha today. Like I don't need to get to high stages of meditation today. I'm good enough. I'm not Jesus level, but I'm good enough. I'm okay with that. And he's like, why is it that you're satisfied with your spiritual accumulations, but you're never satisfied with like shoes? Like analyze your priorities, bro. That's what he's saying. He's like, why are you always trying to get a better apartment, more money, sexier, better skincare? I'm just telling you my personal desires. But I'm not sitting there like, Rachel, you really should be able to meditate for a full hour without wavering from your object. You really should. And then like wake up thinking about that and then scroll through the Instagram of spirituality. What's it called when you mark things? Archiving all of the spiritual attainments that I want, but I don't. I have like weird jewelry and I do it for hours. Like, I don't know if you're like me, but he's saying, why are you spending so much time online shopping when you could be daydreaming and actually pursuing things that are really going to help you? And in this way, everything that we desire in this realm and consume in this realm, they never satisfy us. We know that already. We know that. That's why we're here. Meaning, like, I don't know if Steven's on this call, but last year we all got together and we got like $1,200 or however much it was, and we bought him these Gucci sneakers. And it was like he really wanted Gucci sneakers and he desired Gucci sneakers and he loves Gucci, and we got him the Gucci sneakers. And it's like, well, how do you feel about the Gucci sneakers a year later? Now there's new Gucci sneakers or some other brand that's cooler than Gucci now, right? You get the new apartment. Like Santi and I got this apartment. It's really nice. We have a backyard. It's 2 floors. Some of you have seen it. And now she'll tell you, I'm just like, well, there's no symmetry in this apartment. Like I need symmetry. It's about the symmetry. There's not enough natural light. There's not enough natural light. I don't like the staircase. You know what I'm talking about? And it's like on and on and on and on and on and on and on. And the problem is with sense objects in this realm, we often do negative karmas to acquire them. There's this part of our mind that's like very tempted and just like, we just dip our toe in. It's like the white lie to get a raise. Or like maybe you flirt with someone's partner when they're on the verge of breaking up because you just want to invest, because maybe if they do break up, then they'll come a little closer to you. And it's just no one would be able to tell from looking at you, but in your mind, there's this minor you wouldn't want it done to you, right? So it's this negative karma that we're just sort of lured into doing in this realm. And that's why it's the honey on the razor blade. So that was question number 2. The honey is the sense pleasures in this realm. The razor blade is a negative karma because they always end. They don't ultimately satisfy us. And then the razor is when we have the negative karma. Okay. Checking the time and moving forward. Okay. Trying to find who wants to read. If you want to read, just unmute yourself and begin.
I can read.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Poison makes its way throughout the entire body, riding upon the coursing of the blood. Just so, should they find an opening, the negativities make their way throughout the entire mind. Suppose a person handed you a bowl completely full of oil, then stood before you with a sword, threatening to take your life should a drop spill. You ascetics must concentrate like this.
Cool. So, this kind of goes to some of the objections I heard in the breakout rooms, which is like, listen, anger's natural. It's also impossible to stop. It's impossible for me to not get angry. And it sort of feels true, right? Master Shantideva says, listen, if someone gave you a bowl of oil and then had a sword at your throat and said, if you spill a drop of this, walk across the room, and if you spill a drop of this, I'm gonna kill you. He said, you wouldn't spill a drop. You wouldn't. And he said, that's what it's like having anger. The sword is at your throat. Don't spill a drop. Don't get angry. The sword is at your throat. If you only knew the situation, and that's in a few teachings too, they'll be like, if you only knew how dire the circumstance was, you wouldn't relax around anger. Okay. It's like, this wasn't the image I initially wanted, but I sort of love it now. It's like living with your head in the jaws of a lion. It's like we have this negative karma. We don't know when it's going to ripen. Okay. It's like my head is in this lion's mouth, and they're like, practice with that amount of care. Your thoughts, your words, your actions, they affect your future. So don't do something that's going to bite you in the ass. That's what he's saying. You know, he's not saying it for any other reason than to protect. I have to protect myself from my own self. And so the instruction is live as though your karma was instant. This is that teaching from Maitreya. And he said, Maitreya is the future Buddha. And he said his greatest wish was that humans would be able to see the results of their actions immediately. Because then as you're crushing a roach, right? I gave this example, I think on Tuesday. As you're crushing the roach, your ribs would break. So the instruction here is, if you really want to do this practice, yes, it sucks that there's a time gap between action and result, between karma and result, between what I think, say, and do, and how it affects my future. That's why you can find yourself walking around and then you have a certain experience that you're like, wait, I don't remember doing that to anybody. And they say it happened lifetimes ago. But listen, think about now. Think about this exact moment. The sword is at your throat. Don't get angry. Don't hurt yourself. Live as though your karma was instant. Okay. Is everyone okay? Any questions? You're good? Okay. I can't see everyone, so you can unmute yourself and say if there's something special.
I think the honey and the razor blade thing kind of really resonated because it makes you start thinking about like some things that you might have done already. And you'd be like, oh, I feel like that's kind of me. Yeah, so it definitely resonated. And I started thinking about some things and I was like, even though this happened a while ago, I'm like, I wonder what the karma is going to be for that.
Well, it's cool that you're having that thought because, and we covered it in previous classes, but you can always learn again with Sarah on Monday morning. And actually we'll talk about it too later in this class, how to destroy the future of that karma. Like, oh no, I've done something wrong. I don't want the result. Let me purify it. They call it purification or shakha. That you can sort of denature. There still will be a result, but there's a way to shift it so it's not as harmful. And then what we're about to get into is how do we destroy all of the negative results, right? In this framework, we've had infinite lifetimes. So I've done a lot of bad stuff, even if I don't remember. That's the teaching. And so what they say about this human life, we're here now. We don't know what's going to happen in the next lifetime, which if you study past and future proof of future lives, you'll that particular course goes a little bit deeper, and death in the realms. We have this precious lifetime. We don't know when we're going to die. We don't know if we're going to have a human lifetime again. It's like practice now. Denature those seeds now, because you don't know what's about to happen. Okay? So it's from here. Then you get your cool razor glasses. And we move into chapter 8, which is concentration or meditation. So we've moved from patience, right? Not getting angry as much as we can. And Master Shantideva makes it sound easy because he's a saint, okay? Not necessarily easy. Then joyful effort. Now concentration and meditation. Christine, can you do this one? Christine Alfred.
Sure. Understand the first fact that special vision, married close to quietude, destroys the mental affliction. Begin then by seeking quietude. It in turn is achieved by the bliss of losing attachment for the world.
Do these words sound familiar to anyone who has done any meditation training? Yes. So we're talking about the utility of meditation. Why is it that Buddhists meditate? Why do I have to stinking meditate? When I first started studying this stuff, I just wanted to show up and listen to Dharma. I didn't want to have to sit down and close my eyes. Like, I really don't like it, you know? Well, I've started to like it, but anyway, this is just in case any of you can identify with that feeling of not particularly wanting to sit and meditate. There's a reason why, and it's because when we get to a certain point in our meditation practice, we can actually cut the root of the misunderstanding, which causes samsara. So here, I decoded some stuff, or recoded for some of you. Understand first the fact that special vision, we're talking about vipassana here, or vipassana, if you've done a Goenka retreat, okay? That means insight. It's like a meditation where you have a certain realization, a certain understanding of emptiness, like the emptiness of a Buddha's mind, which is the same as the emptiness of my mind. Married close to quietude, which is shamatha, single-pointed focus. These are good words for you to know as you navigate different meditation classes and meditation trainings. So these are two tools that meditators utilize, that Master Shantideva utilized in order to get to this point where we can actually start to understand, because we're all thinking about emptiness conceptually, we're thinking about it intellectually, but what we really want is a direct experience of emptiness. In order to do that, we have to develop shamatha and vipassana. Shamatha, single-pointed focus, I think it's good to define it here so that if you haven't heard this term before, you can sort of conceive of it and start to apply it to your own practice. Shamatha is when you put your mind on an object, say the breath, and it doesn't move. You're just on the breath. You don't think about lunch, you don't fall asleep. It's bright and vibrant and clear, and you're totally zoomed in and focused on the sensation of the breath at the tip of your nose. That's shamatha. And I'm not going to go through this video, but I will email it to you. Okay, so this is pulling additional information from that verse in order to reach the direct perception. Sorry, I'm pulling my notes here. So we want to get to the point where quietude and insight join together so that we can have this special meditative realization called the direct perception of emptiness. Other traditions will call it like suchness or no self. There's a lot of different ways that different traditions and different teachers talk about this. We're talking about emptiness. We're talking about directly perceiving, not just understanding directly, not just understanding intellectually, but directly perceiving the fact, the truth, directly perceiving that my mind lacks a nature in the same way that the Buddha's mind lacks a nature. And when I can do that in meditation, it's required to get into this very, very subtle state. And once I get there, there's this feeling of ascension when you get to that realization, because you're actually entering a different realm. There's a desire realm, formless realm. We are in the desire realm. In order to perceive emptiness in this high level of meditation, we have to get to the form realm. And then after we have that perception, it takes about 20 minutes. And there's some video content of Geshe Michael talking about this perception. It takes about 20 minutes. And then there's this sensation of like falling back down into your body. And then for about 24 hours, I just think this is cool. You can read people's minds. You have certain powers. You understand what your name will be when you become a Buddha. And you also know when you will die and how you will die. There's these certain things that happen after you have this perception. Most importantly, you now understand how to generate your paradise, because you understand with absolute unwavering clarity, no more doubt, you've destroyed that with the perception. You understand exactly the fact that not only your mind, but your external world and the rest of you is all empty of a nature. And you understand exactly how you can build the mind and body of a Buddha. And then things start to move much more quickly. And we will talk about that in later classes. Okay. The state that you have to get to, this is the answer to the question. It's called Michokme. You can write down the blue. Okay. We have to get to this state. It's the first level of the form realm. It means no lack of time. Now, generally, if you're in this state and you're not meditating on emptiness, say you're just meditating on the breath only, and you reach this state of the form realm, it could lead to a rebirth in that realm. And so this is a good point. I think a lot of natural meditators might have this experience, like people who just, they really enjoy it. It's kind of like effortless for them. It's really beautiful experiences. It feels really good to be in those states. The point of this teaching right here on this slide is that feeling good in meditation is not the point. It's not the point. Because no matter how great that meditation is, really doesn't matter if it's better than an orgasm. If you're gonna die, you're not utilizing meditation to its full potential. He's saying, don't let meditation become the honey on a razor blade. If you're a yogi and you understand what pratyahara is, sense withdrawal, everything moves inward. They can hold a McDonald's French fry in front of your nose and you don't smell it. That's not nirvana. Shamatha is not nirvana. You will still die. Okay. What you want to do, he says, is become an Arya. Become an Arya. This is someone who's seen emptiness, also known as a stream enterer. How are we on time? Okay. So if you're wondering, okay, how do I get to this direct perception? Here's some guidelines. First of all, you have to probably start a meditation practice. Try to go on a retreat if you can. The classical teaching, I just want to move you around a little bit, but you can still see, right? Okay, so the classical teaching is this: 60 minutes a day. I'm only seeing a couple of shocked faces. All right, 1 full hour a day of meditation in order to, you want to have the direct perception of emptiness, you want to cut all of your pain at the root. Have you had enough of pain? Have you had enough of pain? Well, direct perception, meditate 60 minutes a day. Okay, that doesn't sound easy. There's all different things that you can do to support this practice, which actually we'll review more as the classes go on. But try to have this in your minds as a goal. And what Geshe Michael said in this original teaching, just to freak everyone out, is he said 60 minutes a day does not count. The 7 ingredients doesn't count. The preliminaries to meditation doesn't count in your 60 minutes. And neither does your sadhana count in the 60 minutes. So we're all screwed. Nope, just kidding. We can all get there because it's a state of mind, okay? Think about the certainty of death and the fact that this is an extremely worthwhile thing. Like, we spend a lot of time not preparing for our death, but there isn't anyone in a human body that hasn't died, right? Like, do you know anyone who hasn't died? So then why do you think you won't? Why do you think that your parents won't? Everyone that you love will die. You will die. Think about that. See if that grounds you in the things that are really important to you, okay? You won't get distracted if you think about that. And then what's also supportive to a meditative practice is keeping your ethics, keeping your Vinaya. What I mean by that is many of you have studied the Buddhist vows. The vows are crafted to support a meditation practice. And we'll get into it. And I'm happy to answer any questions about that. But basically, I don't know, there's like 200 vows. There's like more than 200 vows that you can take as a Buddhist. If you're really serious, you get down on your knees and you promise to all of the angels that you're like 90% sure exist. And you say, listen, I want to do this. And I want to do it for everybody. I don't want to just do it for myself. I want to do it for my family that I love. I want to do it for my friends. And I want to do it for every poor asshole that is at the mercy of their mental afflictions. I have compassion for them. So I'm going to get on my knee and I'm going to promise to keep all these vows. And the vows are really beautiful. We'll go through a couple of them on the next slide. Once you make that promise, it's an extremely strong impression on your mind. And then when you keep the promises day after day after day after day, it does something to your mind. Venerable Chunsum, who used to teach at 3 Jewels often, she's part of the extended Sangha. She taught morality to me in a way that I still think about to this day. And it's like this. Okay, you want to get a better meditation practice? This is how. Think about everyone's mind as like a bowl of water or a lake, like a clear lake. Then think about every time you go and piss someone off, even very subtly, it's like disturbing the lake in their mind. And then if karma is true, it's like my mind is watching myself disturb their mind. So then what's going to happen to the lake in my mind? It will also get disturbed, right? So then I'm sitting down and my mind is all like this. It's disturbed. I can't get clear. I can't sink down into insight because there's too many chopping waves from the way that I've disturbed other people's minds. So ethics are really important for meditation. They're actually really important for like feeling okay, curing anxiety, curing depression. And so this is one of the ways in which the vows protect us. So then, we go into some obstacles for meditation. And this is Arya Nagarjuna on the left. Naga is like a snake being. It's not really like a deity, I don't think. They're kind of like magical. and they give the practitioners wisdom. And he's like the king of those beings. That's what his name means. And anyway, he wrote this essay about the obstacles to meditation, meaning the things that kill your chances of getting out of this realm into bliss, flipping into bliss. Don't want to kill my chances. So there's these 5 things that you shouldn't do if you want that beautiful experience, the direct perception. If you want to be a stream enterer, an Arya. There's also like, they call it pakpa in Tibetan. And there's this way of like talking about humans, kind of like in high school or in middle school, depending on your experience, when people would be like, who's a virgin? You're a virgin, you're not a virgin. You're a virgin, you're not a virgin. You remember that conversation? I think most people will. For like serious meditators, it's like, are you a pakpa or not? Are you an Arya or not? Are you a stream enterer or not? An Arya is like this special being. It's like, wow, you've used the human vessel to achieve one of the highest things that this can achieve. Okay, 5 obstacles to getting to that state. Restless desire and missing a person or thing. This is about 90% of our day. Thinking about the to-do list. Being nostalgic. Then 10% of the day. Being pissed off at other people. That's really hard for a meditation practice. It's almost impossible to meditate if you're angry. And that includes being angry at yourself. Just because you don't yell at people, it doesn't exclude you from that. Sorry, Allison Perry, if you're in the room. Drowsiness and dullness. Sleep. Do sleep. Sleep well. It's good for your meditation practice. Attraction to sense objects, sex. What else? Food. And unresolved doubts. Is this sounding familiar to anyone who's either taken or studied the Bodhisattva Vows? They make you promise. This is what's so cool, because the vows, like, they're just karmas that we want. They're just movements of mind that the Buddha's like, listen, you want to get to where I am, move your mind like this. So take the vow to promise to move your mind like this. Don't do these things that kill your meditation. And the 5th one is so cool. It's like, if you have unresolved doubts about what you're doing, it's going to kill your meditation practice. The examples here, I think, are superb. Is my teacher a Buddha or not? At a certain point, when you're working with a guru, you're working with a lama, the agreement and the practice is to see them as an enlightened being. And that will sort of expedite the process. The karmas are much stronger. The seeds that we plant in our own consciousness, they go much deeper if we think we're talking to an angel. Like, what if, seriously, what if, I mean, I grew up Christian, so I have strong connections with Jesus. I have a strong heart connection with Jesus Christ. So then I think about it, like, how would I feel if Jesus Christ like showed up in my bedroom and was like, hey, I'm going to teach you how to be like me? I would be like, whoa. And I would like hang on every word, probably memorize every word. I wouldn't be like laying on my couch eating chips, you know? And I would really take very seriously what they're saying. That's a blessing. It helps me. It doesn't help them. It doesn't matter. Forget about the teacher. It helps the student to interact that way. And by the way, I'm not talking about myself. I'm thinking of my own teacher as I discuss this. Second is this stuff going to work or not? If you have some doubt about whether or not your practice is actually going to help you, you're less likely to actually do the practice. That makes sense, right? So he's saying, figure out now if you're going to commit yourself to this or not. There's no time to waste effing up your meditation practice. Just decide right now, do I want to go there or I don't want to go there? And if the answer is yes, go 100%. And if the answer is no, forget about it. Stop wasting your time. That's what he says. By the way, The yoga of pretend is easier when you watch your mind when you're in samadhi constantly. When you are in perfect concentration, it's much easier to do more difficult practices. That was a note that was in the original teaching. I thought I'd share it with you. This is the answer to question 5. And this is from Arya Nagarjuna. If you get the chance to study Arya Nagarjuna, especially with Geshe Michael Roach, you should. He's like wild. He's like the psychedelic one. Good? Okay. Sorry, I can't see your names when I go over your face. Can someone volunteer to read this? In isolation, question 6.
I can read.
Yes. Oh, hi, Paula.
Hey. Think of these considerations and others as well. Contemplate the benefits of isolation. Put an end to useless thoughts and meditate upon the wish for enlightenment. From the very beginning, exert yourself in the practice of treating others and yourself the same. When the happiness and the sufferings are the same, then you will care for all just as you do yourself.
Nice. So he says, go into the forest to meditate. Okay, like go in isolation, go retreat, dive in. And then he's like, but the practice is treating yourself and others the same. Mahayana Buddhism, compassion is extremely important. Treat yourself and others the same. This is the answer to number 6. And it's called, that's His Holiness. It's called Daksha Nyamje. Is anyone studying Tibetan in here that knows these words?
I'm
Say again.
Yeah, I'm studying Tibetan.
Do you know these words?
I've certainly heard Daksha Namje before.
Okay.
You want to know an exact translation?
Yeah, if you knew one. If not, it's okay.
Yeah, I can't help you with that. Sorry, I'm looking at them to break them down. But this is not a transliteration. If I saw the transliteration, then maybe I could go there. But I'll get back to you on that one. Okay, Rachel?
So we all want a shortcut to whatever it is that we're going for, right? The shortcut is exchanging self and others. It's like spiritual fast food. It's like the pill that you want that's going to cure everything. If you're in a difficult moment, especially if you're in a difficult moment now in your life, the solution is always put yourself in their shoes and take care of them the way they want to be taken care of. Disclaimer, some people don't know what's actually going to be good for them. Don't give them something that's going to harm them. And we can talk about specificities if you have questions. But the practice here is this. You're sitting in the room with them. Okay? They're looking at you, you're looking at them. Take your mind, put it in their head. Then you're switching perspectives. You're in their body and then you're looking at yourself. Imagine, try to intuit what it is that they want from you. It's like trying to read their mind. You're really trying to understand exactly what they want. Put your mind in their head and then figure out what they want from you and then take care of them. That's what Master Shantideva says to do. Okay, we're going to go through some objections to the compassion practices. The first objection is, I could never learn to think of other people as the same as me. They're not the same. They're not the same as me. Mackenzie, can you read the verse?
Yes. I could never learn to think of others as me. There are so many separate parts, the hands and all the rest, but we dearly care for them all as a single body. Just so shall I work for the happiness of every different being, treating all as equal, all as one, thinking of their joy and pain as if it were my own. Who I think I am is artificially me. It is a projection that is grouping stuff together. Just reject it. If you want a Buddha paradise, do it.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty straightforward, right? You want to be in paradise? Think of everyone else as the same as you. And his justification is this. My body has all these different parts that are me. There are all these different parts, but I say that all of these parts all together, this is Rachel. But what if I cut off my hand? Am I still me? Yes, but you just said that all of these parts are me, and I just removed one of the parts. But then you said I'm still me. So what's me? Me is the lasso that I put around all of these parts. And if I lose my arms, then the lasso gets smaller, you know? If I get pregnant, the lasso gets bigger. He's saying it's a fake grouping. It's a projection from your mind. You're putting a circle around this stuff, but not that stuff. So put a circle around everybody else. Say that they're you. It's weird because it's so simple. He says it's so matter of fact, but it's true. I think that I am the collection of my parts, but when I start losing my parts, I'm still me. I'm still Rachel. That proves that the collection of my parts is that the collection of my parts as me is a projection. I'm not the collection of my parts. I'm the projection that says Rachel. And so I can change that projection. I can change the lasso that I put around all those parts, and I can include Zoe, and I can include Dom, I can include Deirdre, and so on. And Anthony. No, not Anthony. I'm just kidding. Okay, who wants to read the next one? Next objection.
I can read it.
Thanks.
But I can't feel their pain like I feel mine, and they can't feel mine. Suppose you object and say that your pain never hurts the body of another. Even so, your pain is something you can't bear for just one reason. You're grasping to yourself.
Can you read that second part one more time slowly?
Suppose you object and say that your pain never hurts the body of another. Even so, your pain is something. Even so, your pain is something you can't bear for just one reason. You're grasping to yourself.
He's saying that our pain just comes from self-grasping. Like the only reason why you can't tolerate your personal pain is because you say it is mine. Just so you could say that person's pain is my pain. I mean, how many of you have had that experience? Like if people say that they're an empath or something, whether or not that exists, we don't know. I think yes. I think that's what we're growing here. But you're in the room and then someone gets hurt and you're like, oh no. Or you find out that something happened to someone, you know, and you're just like, oh, you feel it. Or a parent and their child, something happens to the child. It's like chopping your arm off, you know? So he's saying their pain could be your pain. You actually could feel it. You actually could feel it if you decided. It's a state of mind. Second part, can you read the second part too? It just supports it.
Just so, even though it's true that sufferings others feel never come and strike you, still it is your suffering, since you'll find them hard to bear once you grasp to yourself as them.
Okay, so stay with us. We're almost done. He's saying it's exactly what I said about the baby. It's exactly what I said about the child. But it's the same with your partner. It's the same with someone. If they mean something to you, generally, we've had this experience before. Their pain becomes my pain. So you should be able to do Daksha Nyamje. You should be able to. You already know how to. You're already doing it with your loved ones. Now, just love everybody else too. Then the Buddha paradise will naturally come. Okay, and then someone's probably thinking, why on earth would I want the pain of 8 billion humans? I don't know. Anyway, that was my personal objection. So why not just work to get happiness only for me? Like, why do I have to involve these other people? Why can't it just be for me? And Master Shantideva says, Sachi, can you read this? And then John Chris, the second one.
Given the fact that both myself and others are exactly the same in wanting happiness, what difference could there ever be between us? What reason that I work only for happiness for myself?
Given the fact that both myself and others are exactly the same in not wanting pain, what difference could there ever be between us? What reason that I protect myself and not all others?
So we're like, Master Shantideva, like, can I just do this for myself, please? And he's like, what makes you so special? Everyone wants to be happy. Everyone wants to avoid pain. Hello? Everyone else with a mind wants that. You can even tell from looking at an ant. You can tell from like, you know, Supriya just learned in the past few months that cats have emotions. You know, when you get to know an animal or when you get to know a human better, you can see it. You can see it. And he's like, duh, just care about everybody. Come on. This was funny. This was in some of the notes. I pulled from the notes of previous teachers. This is hard for Americans to do who are obsessed with themselves. He's saying, I just thought that was hilarious. I'm not accusing you. I'm accusing myself, okay? 99% of the day, all I'm thinking about is how can I get like the best coffee? How can I relax my body? How can I check all my emails so that I can watch Warrior on HBO Max? And he's saying, learn how to think about other people too. And you know what's cool? I'll share this personal insight I had, which is, I won't go to the next slide. If everyone's pain becomes your pain, just hear me out, just hear me out. Everyone's pain becomes your pain, right? Then what about their pleasure? How many mouths can you experience the delicious taste of food through? If you are linking, if you are incorporating their body to your body, you're taking a rope and you're tying it around the entire planet and you're saying, this is me, this projection is me. Then every bliss you bring to everyone is your bliss, becomes your bliss. It becomes your, there's no jealousy. It's just, you just want them to feel good and you to feel good. It's equally the same. It's a way to, it's like diversifying your portfolio. I don't know anything about finance, but it's diversifying your portfolio. It's like be smart, invest in all of these beings so that you get more. It's enlightened self-interest. It's just logical. It just makes sense. Everyone wants happiness. Everyone wants no more suffering. And it also will create pain, pleasure for you if you take care of everybody. So it makes sense. And then he says, I'll just give this one to you because I know we're running out of time. And then he says, you won't be so precious about it either. Like as I'm saying it now, you're like, yes, I'm going to take this golden ribbon and I'm going to tie it around every person and I'll be so special. I'm going to be such a good Buddhist now. You know, it's like that kind of, look at me, look, I'm doing it, look, I'm doing it. And it's good, you should feel good. There's this sense of pride, it's like a good pride of practicing well. But he's saying it won't seem like this super special act anymore. It's just gonna feel like when you feed yourself dinner. You're not like, congratulations, Rachel. You made a cup of noodle for yourself and you fed yourself today and that was just really considerate of you and you didn't have to, but you did. And it's because you're working so hard on these spiritual truths. No, he's like, it's just like feeding yourself. It will, you don't even think about it. He says, if you could then, you would never feel that it was strange nor conceited when you work for others. You don't expect congratulations from yourself whenever you eat your dinner. I thought that was so cool. Because what he does is he gets us invested in compassion. And then he's like, I'm gonna also protect you from being like too prideful. Like stay humble about it. Just be real. Just stay on an even keel. What you're doing is the right thing. It's logical, it makes sense. Okay, these are takeaways for the class. So I try to reduce it down to the essence so that you know what so we have a few days before the next class, right? Next class is Tuesday at 7:30. So between now and Tuesday at 7:30, you have some things to practice. One is taking responsibility for your world and your mind. It is my duty and my honor to change the world. Don't expect anyone to thank you, they won't. And guess what? They might say bad things about you. It's like Jesus. They might crucify you for loving them. Love them anyway. It's the right thing to do. Laksam Namdak. Don't expect someone else to make the change. It's gotta be on you. Sorry, politicians should be the ones doing it. They say they're the leaders. Don't wait for a leader. Just do it now. You become the leader. Laksam Namdak. Number 2, there's no pleasure that's not pain in this realm. It's not saying don't enjoy pleasure when it comes. You should enjoy pleasure when it comes, but recognize that it's not worth hurting people to get something that you like. It's not worth hurting yourself to get something that you like. It's impermanent, it's gonna go away. It's not gonna satisfy you forever. What will satisfy you forever is being in a Buddha paradise and being an angel. You can stop anger if you try. Remember the oil and the knife? Carrying the cup of oil with the knife at your throat? He's like, you could do that if that was the situation. And guess what? It is the situation. I gave you a little graphic. Not sure what the characters mean, but I like that this person is meditating in these like flaming jaws. He's like, don't look now, but that's what's really going on. So stop your anger and then overcome your meditation obstacles, reach wisdom, and Dakshan Namje. This is something that if you forget everything else, just take Laksam Namdak and Dakshan Namje. It's my responsibility and I'm gonna exchange myself and others. Yes, even the people that are stupid and annoying. I want them to be happy too. Why? Everyone wants happiness. So this is the essence of the class. Okay. If you're doing this course for credit, you have homeworks and quizzes, you have readings, it's all on Thinkific. So if you're in this class tonight, if you signed up through 3 Jewels, through Mind Body, that means I have your email. That means you're gonna get an email from me. Those who came on Tuesday should have already gotten one with a link to Thinkific to sign up to get homeworks, quizzes, readings. You'll also get a recording of this class. And if you're doing the course for credit, you also have to do 30 minutes of meditation per class. So Tuesday's meditation was meditating on the perfection of patience and joyful effort interchangeably. Now you have another meditation to do 30 minutes. Determine whether or not you're being attacked by those 5 obstacles that Arya Nagarjuna said, right? Restless desire, malice, sense pleasure, dullness, and doubt. Okay? Let us close it off then. Who wants to do it? Is there anyone that wants to do it? Andy, do you want to do it? No? Okay, you don't have to. Who wants to do it? Nicolette, do you want to?
No, but I will.
Okay,
I'll do it. I'm still kind of learning the words, but I can try.
Okay, good.
I don't know how to sing, but okay, it's not showing up on my screen yet. That's why I'm waiting.
Oh, sorry. I'll press play. I'm gonna mute myself.
Sashi Puki Jukshing Metok Tram Rira Blingshi Ninde Gampadi Sangye Shingdu Mikte Uargi Drokun Namdak Shingla Chupar Shok Idam Guru Ratnamandala Kam Yatayami. Will you switch it? Kiwadi Kyokun Sunam Yashe Tsoksok Shing Sunam Yashe Lejongwei Dampa Kuni Topar Shok.
Good job. So we just offered another perfect world. Remember, the result of these practices is to create a perfect world, perfect body, perfect mind, perfect lover. Like, bring your mind there. We just offered that to all the Buddhas and all the angels who gathered to hear us study Dharma. And then the second prayer is saying, may what I have just done build my Buddha's body, that the merit that we do and the wisdom that we have builds the body that we will have as a Buddha. It's literally like, I think of it like Legos. You know?
I just got a translation for Dakshin Yampa. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Can you hear, is the audio okay?
Yes.
Okay, Dak means self. Shan means others. So self, others. And Nyampa means equalizing.
Oh, cool.
Others equalizing.
Thank
and
you.
that's from Dr. Word Smith.
Yeah, maybe what I can do is I can share a link to your Tibetan class. If it's still open for people to read, I'll send a recap email tomorrow with information about the class. Does anyone have any questions before we close out? Or
I do have a question.
Yeah, Maria.
Yes, when you were mentioning about the vows, about the Bodhisattva vows, is that ACI7?
Is it 7 and 9?
7, I think. Yeah.
And then Vinaya is 9.
Okay, thank you.
If it helps, I did not study those courses. before I took my vows. I just wanted to marry Buddhism, as I say.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about vows, you all have my personal email. That's what I'm emailing from. So if you have questions like that, like Maria, you're asking, maybe anyone's interested in taking the vows, or any questions, please do reach out.
Rachel, are those slides on Thinkify too?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Yeah, they should be. Cool. Zoe, you were raising your hand, but I don't see you now. You still here?
I'm here. Not everybody needs to know this, but everybody's still here. I guess something that comes up every time we talk about what?
I was reminding you to equalize yourself and others.
Okay, yeah, fair. A lot of what comes up when I talk about Laksam Nam, first of all, every time you say it, I always think, like, I'm obsessed with it and I don't even know how to say it, girl. Is it Floksam or Hoksam?
I say what I've heard, which may not be the perfect pronunciation.
What'd you hear?
Laksam?
Laksam, okay. Okay, so, but like when I see the audio, I think it has enough. Anyway, whenever I try and explain it to somebody else, the first thing that comes up is like the pain and grief of like taking on personal responsibility. And so I guess I'm just wondering, in conversation with people about that, who are ready to have that conversation or in code, like, what do we say to that? Because it's true. I mean, every time I'm like, yeah, it's overwhelming, the taking personal responsibility, but that then tumbles into all of the ways they've done wrong, and that just perpetuates things they've done wrong, and that's hard.
Don't lead with global warming is your karma. It's like it for me, if you guys are going and explaining this to people and you're wanting to, it's a natural part of like hearing the Dharma and getting really excited. And Zoe, I know that you have that, and you bring a lot of people in, you invite them in. I usually don't lead with Laksam Namdak. We have to make sure that someone's mind, even though, yes, I did do like a whole rant on my Instagram. I am my own animal. This is my advice, okay? My advice is teach someone karma and emptiness, because otherwise personal responsibility doesn't make any sense. If I don't really understand that everything is empty of a nature, not just if I pretend, then things will be different, but they really will be the same. I'll just feel better about it. You have to really understand emptiness, 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 emptiness. And then the flip side of emptiness, lack of an inherent nature, meaning the reason why we don't like, I've been using Donald Trump a lot. What else don't we like? I don't know. The reason why I don't like something is because of my mind. How do I know? Why do I know? There's other people that like that thing. There's other people. What's something that I don't like? Hold on, sorry. I don't know why I'm blanking out.
Racism.
That's Zoe.
Say I don't like when Santi orders McDonald's. That's a very good example. I get really annoyed. She orders McDonald's from DoorDash. It's like $30. I'm McDonald's shaming her right now. But she does. It's like once a week, she'll order like all of this McDonald's. Sorry, babe. And she's like, I just need it. And then I'm like, oh, this is so annoying. But like, she loves it. And I'm like, ew, chemicals. But she loves it. So where does it come from? She has better karma than me because she likes the thing. That's my bad karma. That's my own mind that's saying, annoying. If I had better karma, if I was doing Dak Shen Nyamje, then I would be like, yes, she just needs it. It's been a hard week. It's going to be so good. Yay, she's ordering a Big Mac or something. I don't know if she's actually ordering Big Mac. Sorry, Santi. You see what I'm saying? Start with that and then go into deeper and deeper and deeper stuff. It's like Amy's example last night. You don't go up to someone and say, hey, listen, you can love the person that traumatized you. Is it true? Yes. If we study these teachings and we really apply them, is it true? Yes. Is it one of the most difficult effing things to do? Also, yes. So then we start with something that I get a chance to prove to myself. Can I start to like my boss a little bit better? Can I start to decrease my anxiety? Can I start to have a better time with my sibling? And then if I go from there, then I can start to build up. But ultimately, if Buddhism is designed to wake you up from samsara, that means that it will also necessarily destroy the karma for us to have a screwed up political system, to have trauma, to have mental illness, to have physical illness, to have COVID, to have a planet that is whatever the hell is happening to our planet. If we actually follow Buddhism all the way out, we destroy samsara, and with that comes every single conceivable type of suffering. Every single one. There isn't one that will be left. And that's the teaching, you know. And you know, Klaksam Namdak is like, did you hear my rant about McDonald's? Oh, okay, thanks. Santi was coming to remind me to talk about books.
Hey, Rachel, can I share something else for the language geeks on the call?
Yeah.
Okay, there are two things that are very similar. One is Dakshem Nyampa, and the other one is Dakshem Namje.
So that's the word that Geshe-la used, and then Hector was using Nyampa. So what's the distinction?
Okay, so Nyampa is seeing yourself as equal to others, and Nyamje is exchanging yourself with others, but it's often misunderstood. Exchanging also means seeing yourself as others.
Oh, okay. So it's very similar.
Well, but I think that's important as far as, you know, really thinking about the language of it. I mean, that one really includes both. It's like your teaching.
Thank you, Leah. I love it. I wanna study it.
Can you say it again one more time? The Nam Po and the Nam Je.
Yeah, it's Nyam-je, Nyam.
No, but the difference between the two meanings.
Oh, you say yeah?
Can you repeat the difference between the two, the Nam Po and the Nam Je?
I think that one was exchanging yourself in others, and the other was seeing yourself as the other person. But my understanding about as it applies to the practice is that they're actually interchangeable, because that's how it's utilized in the original teachings. Okay, everybody, thank you so much. I want to do a couple of things. So one is look out for the email, do your homeworks and quizzes before they get away from you. Even if you're not doing the certification, try the meditations on Monday evenings with Sarah Blackburn. It's exclusive to this group of people. So these are not public meditations. And so you'll be able to ask more direct questions about this particular practice. And this practice is not something that we teach just like all the time in public meditation classes. It's more advanced, it's more difficult. So as you're applying it, you can come on Monday evening and ask Sarah your questions. She's in here somewhere maybe, unless she signed off already. Sarah, are you here?
Hello. Yes, I'm here.
This is Sarah. Sarah's going to guide you and answer all of your questions on Monday evenings. You have to reply to my email though. I'm going to CC her, and then you reply and say, yes, I want to do this. Also, if you're looking for some reading, we just got a bunch of new books at 3 Jewels. We got a bunch of books on how to destroy racism if you want. This is just one of them, okay? But we have like 4. I don't know, a lot of people message me on Instagram and they say, I want more reading than the ACI courses, so that's why I thought to do this. The other thing is, whether you're a yogi or not, this is an excellent starter text, the Yoga Sutra. And it talks about all of the core tenets of Buddhism that we're covering. So if you want something, it's really easy to read. Look, it's verses like this, and it's written in a really accessible way, and in a really beautiful way, to keep bringing your mind back to karma and emptiness. Oh yeah, this is why I have to love people. Oh yeah, this is why I have to take care of people. Oh yeah, this is enlightenment. So if you're interested and you want more reading, this is what you can do. And if not, the readings.
Which translation is that, Rach?
Huh?
Which translation is that?
The Geshe Michael one.
Okay.
Short and sweet. It doesn't have the full Yoga Sutra in it. You know that he merges some of the verses and does an interpretation that's based specifically in this school of Tibetan Buddhism, which is why I like recommending them. But for our yoga teacher training, we're doing 2 different commentaries. Earl's going to be working with 2 different commentaries on the Yoga Sutra. If you want some support for your meditation practice, we're doing a meditation challenge at 3 Jewels. It's free to sign up, donation-based challenge, and you'll get emails every day for 10 days with guided meditation and meditation tips and tricks. So if you're looking to jumpstart your meditation practice to get to the 60 minutes, this is a great way to start. All right. Have a wonderful night, and I'll see you all on Tuesday.
Thank you for teaching, Rachel.
Thanks, Rachel.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks, Rachel.
Rachel, I have a question about the homework. Sorry, really quick.
Yes, I am here.